Hello, everybody. My name is Noah Taff, and welcome to my review of the horror show at Extreme Rules. How can I summarize this event? It was good wrestling, weird booking. It's pretty standard fare for the main roster, I'd say. Very good wrestling on the show, very strangely booked show. It was, counting the pre-show, an 8-match card. Actually, no, technically a 7-match card. One of the matches didn't happen. But let's get into what actually did happen. So the pre-show match, which was made last minute, was Kevin Owens versus Murphy. I don't know how I feel about Owens being on the pre-show after he had just beaten Rollins on Raw, but he won, and it was a good match, so, fuck it. They did as much as they could in 8 minutes and 55 seconds. There was a cool spot where it looked like Owens was maybe going to go for the Swanton, or maybe a Frog Splash, but then he just turned around and turned it into a moonsault. Owens ended up beating Murphy with the stunner. Again, solid match for a match under 9 minutes, I'd say. Speaking of matches that didn't get much time, but were actually pretty good, the main card kicked off with Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro challenging The New Day, Kofi Kingston, and Big E for SmackDown Tag Team Championships. This only got 10 minutes and 25 seconds, but they crammed a lot into this. And man, I tell you what, Cesaro and Nakamura controlled most of this match, much like they've been controlling most of the feud, and the finish was great. They ended up taking out Big E, and then they stacked 2 tables on top of each other, and Cesaro, from the top rope, power-bombed or razor's edged Kofi through both the tables. And Nakamura and Cesaro win the tag titles. They have dominated this entire feud and just won the tag titles off of it. I had a feeling maybe they would, because I was like, there's no way the New Day are going to lose this as a regular match, because they're not going to get dominated a whole feud and then lose by pinfall, which they didn't. They got dominated a whole feud and then lost for a tables match, but they didn't get pinned, so probably rematch at SummerSlam, and they'll get the belts back again, probably because they want the New Day to have the most tag title reigns ever, I imagine. So yeah, they'll probably get them back at SummerSlam. But hey, Shinsuke Nakamura's one world title short of a Grand Slam. How about that, huh? Okay, anyway, moving on. Women's match, Bayley versus Nikki Cross for SmackDown Women's Championship. This got 12 minutes and 20 seconds. I didn't have much expectations for this. I don't know why, I just didn't, but it was actually quite good. It was a really good match. Here's where the overbooking starts. It was an obvious finish, but it was just like, oh, come on. Well, first off, Cross almost won the 2 minutes. She hit the neckbreaker real quick, and Bayley barely kicked out. Of course, near the end of the match, Sasha got involved. I forget what the exact thing was. She distracted the ref. She distracted the ref, and she handed Bayley, her knuckles things that say boss on them, and they acted as brass knuckles. And Alexa's fucking blind, I guess, so she didn't see it. And Bayley hit Cross with the brass knuckles and retained the title. I don't think this will go any further, but good match, good opportunity for Nikki. Where do Nikki and Alexa go from here? No clue. Maybe they'll win the tag titles this Friday, or after they do the fucking Banks Bayley break, or maybe they'll solidify it by losing the titles to Cross and Bliss. I don't know, but they're gonna have to drop tag titles if they're feuding. So up next was supposed to be Apollo Crews defending the U.S. title against MVP. However, Apollo was not there. It's rumored he has the coronavirus. That's not confirmed, but that's the rumor. So he wasn't there, so MVP declared himself the winner and the new U.S. champion by forfeit. However, that is not official. Montel Vontavious Porter is not the GM. He cannot do that, and according to JDB.com, Apollo Crews is still the United States champion. Moving on. Oh god. Seth Rollins versus Rey Mysterio. Eye for an eye. 18 minutes and 5 seconds. The match was quite good. Not surprising, it's Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins. Rey Mysterio, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, one of the greatest wrestlers of the previous generation, versus Seth Rollins, one of the greatest wrestlers of this generation, and a guy who probably will go down as one of the greatest wrestlers of all time as well when it's all said and done. So, yeah, obviously, it was a great match. They had a great match for a while, and then we got around to the eye shit. It looked like Rey was going to do it. He actually hit the curb stomp on Seth, and then was going to put Seth's eye in the steps, and I don't know how pushing his eye in helps it pop out, but then Seth reversed it on him. He kicked him in the balls, and then Seth pushed his eye into the steps, which somehow made Ray's eye pop out of the socket, and it was very obviously a fake eye. They didn't even use CGI or nothing. It was literally a plastic eye, man. And Seth barfed, and they carried Ray out, and they said, oh, don't worry, his retina didn't get attached, so they could still fix it. Fucking... It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. And hopefully that's the end of that feud, because, my God, like... That's just enough of that. Moving on, the longest match of the night, actually, is Asuka versus Sasha Banks for the Raw Women's Championship. 20 minutes on the dot is what they have this clocked in on. Now, again, the match was quite good. It was a good match. Now we get to the finish, which a lot of people hated. I actually liked it. I thought it was hilarious and kind of brilliant. The only part where I'm annoyed is that it was the longest match of the night and it was a great match, but it had a no contest finish. So basically, and I thought it was brilliant, but here's the thing. Kairi handed Asuka the mist, and Asuka was going to spit the mist at Sasha. But Sasha ducked, and Asuka missed the ref. And then Bayley came in the ring and hit Asuka in the back of the head, the women's tag team title belt. And then Bayley stripped the ref, put the shirt on herself, and counted the pinfall, declaring Sasha Banks the Raw Women's Champion. Now, Sasha Banks is not the Raw Women's Champion, despite her being in possession of the belt, and the match was officially declared a no contest. Yesterday, actually 2 days ago, as you're saying this on Raw, Stephanie McMahon said that there will be a rematch next week on Raw to determine the true Raw Women's Champion. But here's the thing. The title can change hands on pinfall, submission, or DQ, or countout. So, there's DQs and countouts. This has got to be it, man. Right? Like, this has got to be where they do the Bayley break. You think? This has just got to be it. SummerSlam's around the corner. Like, they've been cock teasing us forever. Like, I appreciate a slow build, but it's SummerSlam time. It's time to do this. Let's do the Sasha Bayley thing. For the love of God, let's just do it. Like, it's been going on long enough. It's about time, I think. It's about time to do it. Up next, WWE title match. Drew McIntyre versus Dolph Ziggler, and a Dolph Ziggler gets to pick the stipulation match. So, before the match, Ziggler announced that it would be an Extreme Rules match. And my sister and I immediately started dying laughing, because we had joked earlier, like, watch him just pick an Extreme Rules match. But here was the twist. It was Extreme Rules, but only for Dolph Ziggler, which is actually fucking brilliant. So only Ziggler could use weapons. Ziggler could not get counted out or DQ'd. And had McIntyre gotten DQ'd or counted out, Ziggler would have won the title. That didn't happen, but it was brilliant regardless. They had a great match with McIntyre trying to resist using weapons and Ziggler beating the crap out of him. Ziggler elbow dropped him for a table at one point. He got a lot of height on it. The finish was tremendous. Ziggler had, I think, zigzagged McIntyre on a chair, and Drew still kicked out, because of course he did. This dude kicked out a fucking 4 F5s. And he was going for the super kick. He did the Shawn Michaels tune up the band shit, and Drew just immediately kicks up and claymores him. And just beats him. So, as you should. Great fucking match. Stipulation was actually quite good. Drew retains as he should. 15 minutes and 25 seconds. And also, next week on Raw, in addition to the women's title match, they will have a rematch for the title. But this time, Drew McIntyre will pick the stipulation. So how about that? Up next, the main event wasn't really a match. It was great, but it wasn't really a match. It was a Wyatt Swamp fight. And it was Bray Wyatt, Cult Leader Bray, the return of Cult Bray, versus Braun Strowman. If I remember correctly, Braun was chasing Bray through the forest, was beating up some minions, and then Braun got beat up by himself, but the black sheep version of himself, and then Bray had him tied up and cut a promo on him, told him about Abigail and stuff, and they fought throughout the forest, and then Abigail was revealed to be Alexa Bliss, because turns out who Sister Abigail really is what you desire, and what Braun desired was Alexa Bliss, so that's what Abigail is. It's what you desire. That was a fun twist. They ended up fighting into some fucking gazebo, and Braun ended up spearing Bray into the water, but then Bray did the Jason Voorhees shit and dragged him down. But then Bray tried to get out of the water, and Bray got dragged in. What did Bray get dragged in by? The Fiend. And the match ended with the Fiend coming out of the water and staring into the camera to end the show, confirming what we already figured: Braun versus the Fiend for the title at SummerSlam. On a Wikipedia page, it lists it as Bray Wyatt defeated Braun Strowman. I don't know if that's accurate, considering it wasn't really a match. I don't know about all that. There was no ever pinfall or nothing. I don't know how you could say that Bray won. I guess because the Fiend ended the show. But yeah, I'd just say it was a no contest as well. And then we'll get... Hopefully the Fiend will beat Strowman at SummerSlam. And the Fiend holds the belt probably till Roman comes back. Who knows when Roman's come back? I don't know if I mentioned this in the prediction video or not, but we might not see Roman this year. To be honest, like, if he's not coming back until the pandemic's cooled down or whatever, like, we might not see him till 2021. Maybe we won't see him till Mania 37. But I don't think we're going to see Roman for a while. I don't think there's any reason to believe that we're going to see Roman for a while. So I think the Fiend will probably hold the belt until then. So yeah. Overall, the show, again, great wrestling. Really good wrestling. Tag title match was good. Bayley and Cross was good. Mysterio and Rollins, good match. Asuka and Banks, good match. McIntyre Ziggler, good match. Wyatt versus Strowman was fun. But it's just the booking, man. Like, the booking on both the women's title matches, and especially Eye for an Eye, and Apollo didn't even show up. And yeah, a lot of this booking, and I don't know how to feel about this show as a whole. It was just kind of a meh for me. The booking really drove it down. So I'll say 6 out of 10, I guess. Good wrestling, but the booking made it suffer a lot. I'll give it a solid 6 out of 10. So up next is SummerSlam, and also what was supposed to be TakeOver Boston. It's not happening in Boston anymore, obviously. But SummerSlam has already been confirmed to move to the Performance Center. If we're still having TakeOver. No currently booked matches for SummerSlam. Likely matches, like I mentioned, Fiend. What's funny is I'm looking at this old TakeOver Boston poster. This poster contains The Fiend, Charlotte Flair, Roman Reigns, Becky Lynch. Sorry, not TakeOver Boston, SummerSlam in Boston poster. That was probably made before the pandemic and everything. And on the poster is The Fiend, Charlotte Flair, Roman Reigns, Becky, Rey Mysterio, Asuka, and Ricochet. Oh, well, they're not doing shit with Ricochet. Sasha will be on the show, and so will The Fiend. But Charlotte's out, so is Roman, so is Becky, and so is probably Rey. So that poster, and it's not in Boston, so that poster did not age well. Possible matches for the show. Andrade and Garza versus Street Profits for tag titles, I guess. Rematch for SmackDown tag team titles. Hopefully Bayley versus Sasha. Hopefully Asuka versus Shayna. Fiend versus Strowman. Drew versus who the fuck knows? Randy, I guess. Hopefully Randy. That'd be the best match I feel like they could do, because I don't think Lesnar's coming back either. What else could happen? Riddle versus AJ, I guess. Apollo versus MVP or Lashley or Triple Threat. Hopefully it'll be a good show. They're missing a lot of star power, but I think it could be a good show. So yeah, I guess we'll see what happens, man. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for my review of the horror show at Extreme Rules. It was a show. It was... it was definitely a show. Again, good wrestling. Could have been a great show if it wasn't for a lot of the overbooking. But that is going to do it for my review of the horror show at Extreme Rules. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, be sure to like it. If you didn't like it, don't. All my social media links are down in the description down below. Thank you all 42 of my Patrons currently listed in the description for your constant support of me and my channel. With all that being said, though, my name is Tafford Steen. This has been my review of the horror show at Extreme Rules, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.